Today's topic is Islam and Christianity, the Valley of Dry Bones. Write that down. I'm not going to let up on Islam, and I'm not going to let up off of Christianity. Both of those religions I'm familiar with. I've ventured in them, through them, and out of them. And I give all praises to the Most High. Today we're going to discuss two of the greatest orators of our people of all time, Martin Luther King Jr., we're going to discuss him, and Malcolm X. We're going to discuss them. No matter what their religious beliefs, when you examine them, you did see the love they had for our people. And you can't take that away from them. And how the Lord did use them to give us the little liberties we have today to go out on the street and speak the way we speak. We got to see the Lord's hand was in all that. Everybody understand what I'm saying? Yes, all right. Give me who's reading for me?
Officer Yuri, sir.
Who?
Officer Yuri, sir.
Officer Yuri. Okay,
yes,
I can barely hear you over there, Yuri.
Check.
Let's open. Can y'all raise his mic?
Test.
We're going to open up Officer Yuri with Luke chapter 12 and verse 1. And we're going to do a lot of historical reading today, so y'all just, whatever y'all see in the books I'm going to reference, write down the name of the book, the page, and what the book said. So that should be in your notes. All right?
Luke chapter 12 and verse 1. In the meantime, when they were gathered together, an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they trode one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy.
So the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy, meaning what? Hey, give me that in Matthew 23, and we're going to come back so we understand what he's talking about. Matthew 23, let me hear verse 1. We're going to read 1 to 3.
Matthew chapter 23 and verse 1. Then spake Jesus to the multitude and to his disciples, saying, the scribes and the Pharisees sit in Moses' seat.
So the Pharisees sat in the seat of Moses. They sat in the seat of authority. When you examine the history, Rome gave many of them those seats. When you read John 11:47, Rome gave them those positions of authority. Go ahead.
All therefore, whatsoever they bid you observe, that observe and do.
Christ said, whatever they tell you to do, just do it. Go ahead.
But
listen good.
Do not ye after their works, for they say and do not.
That's hypocrisy. When you say and do not. When you hear men say they keep the commandments, but they have hatred for their brother, that's hypocrisy. Do everybody understand that? Sure. All right. Give me back Luke 12 again. Luke 12 and 1.
Luke chapter 12, verse 1. In the meantime, when they were gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, insomuch that they tread one upon another, he began to say unto his disciples, first of all, beware ye of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. For there is nothing covered that shall not be revealed.
There's nothing covered that shall not be revealed. Now, these are twofold meanings here in verse 2 and 3. Go ahead.
Neither hid that shall not be known.
Neither hid that shall not be known. Go ahead.
Therefore, whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness,
Christ said, whatever you have spoken in darkness, meaning dark parables, go ahead,
shall be heard in the light.
Shall be heard in the light, in the open. Go ahead.
And that which ye have spoken in the ear.
And that which you have spoken in the ear.
In closets.
In closets, meaning privately, secretly. Go ahead.
Shall be proclaimed upon the housetop.
Shall be proclaimed upon the housetop. So what we are learning now in the Bible, through parables, similitudes, metaphors, and allegories, Christ said, I want you to break them down and speak it plain before the people. In these last days, we are to teach God's laws, his prophecies plainly. Read.
And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do.
I need you men to understand that. Christ is letting us know that what we are going to bring out publicly, that what we bring out, that we learned in parables and metaphors, but now we're teaching it plainly, it's going to get some of us killed. That's what he's saying. Read it again, verse 4.
And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body.
Don't be afraid of them that kill a body. Why? Because what we're teaching that we learned in allegories and metaphors and parables, the people are now finding out that many of those dark sayings are against the nations. Many of those dark sayings come to the end of slavery, judgments of slavery, judgments of death and damnation, judgments of destruction against nation after nation after nation, and against our own rebellious people. Read it again.
And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that have no more that they can do.
Right, because after they kill your body, there's nothing else that they can do. Watch this.
But I will forewarn you whom ye shall fear.
Let me proclaim to you who you shall fear. Go ahead.
Fear him, which after he hath killed, hath power to cast into hell. Yea, I say unto you, fear him.
He's saying you better fear the one true God, because after your body's gone, he can destroy your spirit, your soul in the lake of fire. That's the hell he's talking about, the lake of fire. That's what he's saying. Everybody understand that? All righty then. IT, Officer Alicia, let's open up with the first history book. Let's zoom in. You don't need my pillowcase in the back there. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead.
Atlas Geographus, or a complete system of geography, ancient and modern, for Africa, containing what is of most use in blue, Verenius, Salarius, Cluverius, Baldrin, Bredius, Sanson, and...
Jump down to the bottom, very bottom. I just see the year. You see the year? I wrote it out for you, Yuri.
1714.
1714. This book is for white eyes only. We was in shackles and chains. We couldn't read, we couldn't write. They made it outlaw for us. Don't get caught reading this book, niggas. Let me not say that word. Some of you Christians get mad. Give me the next. Let's go inside. Give me that first highlighted section, Alicia.
Leo
Can you, is it possible? You can't center it? Okay, just leave it there. Go ahead.
Leo says, there are other kingdoms on the southern frontiers of this country, which are inhabited by a rich, industrious, and just sort of people. Judaism was the religion of the ancient Africans for a long...
Wait, we just can't run by that. This book says Judaism was the religion of the ancient Africans, talking about our people, for a long time. Go ahead.
And succeeded by Christianity.
And then was succeeded by Christianity.
But Mohammedanism...
But Islam, that's what Mohammedanism is.
Prevailed in the 208th year of the Hegira.
But Islam came against it and prevailed. So I just want to pause there. I never knew Judaism was the religion of our people for a long time. Did you know that? Did you know that? Did y'all know that? That's been kept. This is why Governor, what's his name? Ron DeSantis said, I'm sorry, Santos said, take Black history out to school. Why? Because they don't want us to come across books like this and bring it in. They don't want us. What is his message is really Black lives don't matter. And that is a catalyst for white people coming up against us. Okay? Read on it.
When all the Jews, Christians, I'll read it for them. But Mohammedanism prevailed in the 208th year of the Hegira, when all the Jews, Christians, and professors of the African religion that could be found were put to death.
Were what?
Put to death.
They put our scholars, leaders, professors to death. That's what the Muslims did. Go ahead.
Yet, in process of time, their intestine quarrels made them neglect Muhammad's law.
But in time, we started to neglect Islam. Go ahead.
And revolt from the Caliph of Baghdad.
In Baghdad, we had wars with them when they made us slaves over there. We fought against them. Watch.
For which They were severely punished.
We were severely punished by who?
By the Mohammedan caliphs.
By the Islamic caliphs. Go ahead.
Who caused all their books to be burnt.
They did what to our records, our books?
Who caused all their books to be burnt.
The Muslims, the Arabs, burned all our records. This is why a lot of times when you go to research things, it's not there. They burned our records, just like during the time of the Greeks, how they burned our records. The scholars kept, their leaders kept them, but they said the vast majority burned all their stuff up. That way they can never rise up, learn who they are. It's all crafty counsel against us. Come on.
Who caused all their books to be burnt on suspicion that the knowledge of the arts and sciences prompted them to contemn Muhammad's law.
Prompted us to hate Muhammad's law, his rules, his regs. Go ahead. Oh, wait, let me see if there's anything else in that I want. No, this goes into the Queen of Sheba. Jump over to the parrot. Yeah, on the right. That one on the right. Zoom in on that.
Some of the Jews who inhabit both sides, the nigger, derived themselves from Abraham.
So, Niger, in case y'all don't know, that's what they call today the Niger River, or the area called Niger. Everybody understand that? Read it again, Yuri.
Some of the Jews who inhabit both sides, the nigger, derived themselves from Abraham.
Derived themselves from who?
From Abraham.
From the forefather Abraham. Go ahead.
Others fled hither from Asia.
From Asia.
When Vespasian destroyed Jerusalem.
So the scholars know many of the blacks that fled into Africa fled from Jerusalem during the time of 70 AD. The white man knows this, but he ain't going to teach you that. He ain't going to teach me that. He ain't going to teach our sons or daughters that. Go ahead.
Or from Judea when 'twas wasted by the Romans.
Mm-hmm.
Persians, Saracens, and Christians. Some were banished from Italy.
Some of the Jews was banished from Italy
in 1342.
Remember, they're talking about our people. Go ahead.
From Spain in 1462.
Mm-hmm.
From the Low Countries.
The Low Countries is the Netherlands today. That's what they call them, the Netherlands. Go ahead.
From the Low Countries in 1350, from France in 1403, and from England in 1422.
They started to banish all the black Jews that kept God's laws at those times. Go ahead.
These all differ in habit, and are divided into several wealthy and numerous tribes, but have no dominion.
We had no kings.
Are despised of all nations.
And everybody hated our guts. Read on. I didn't underline it, but read that bottom part.
And so, abominated by the Turks.
The Turks hated us.
That they are not admired to be Mohammedans.
Admitted.
Excuse me. That they are not admitted to be Mohammedans.
Muslims, go ahead.
Unless first baptized.
We had to be water baptized first to become Muslims. You can't make this stuff up. That's all I want out of it. Give me the next book. Next book. Read that, Yuri.
West African countries and peoples, British and native.
See, y'all got to get to the point where nobody can shake your faith, where your faith is immovable. Immovable. Does that say that right? Unshakable faith. So when you read the Bible and you got history books, because the Bible is the main source. Y'all need to understand that the Bible is the main source. History books, most of them, if they must flow through the Bible. If I understand that. Go ahead, read that, Yuri. I'm sorry.
West African countries and peoples, British and native, with the requirements necessary for establishing that self-government recommended by the Committee of the House of Commons 1865, and a vindication of the African race.
Jump down to the very bottom.
1868.
1868. Let's go inside the book on page 187. Move me out the way. Mm-hmm.
Jews with African countries since the days of Moses, Abraham, Joseph, Solomon, as well as the destruction of Jerusalem and the consequent scattering of the Jews all over the globe, the influence of Judaism on Africa is greater and farther diffused than that of the Jews and their geographical extension.
Come on.
If we take, for instance, the race under consideration, I will go still further and assert that the more we study them in all their various relationships, the more shall we be convinced that they form a portion of those lost tribes who disobeyed the commandment of God.
You mean to tell me the white man don't know who we are? You mean to tell me he don't know who we be? Oh, he know who he is. Come on.
And were dispersed, but are now mingled with the original inhabitants.
This is how we speak all those various African. When you go throughout Africa, you got 1 million tribes in there. Well, at least 3,000 languages, 3,000 tribes there. This is how the scholars know we were mingled amongst the original inhabitants. What original inhabitants? Jebusites, the Philistines, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Girgasites, the Hittites, the Canaanites. We mingled among those tribes. We took on their language. We took on their idolatrous ways. Read it again, Yuri.
The more shall we be convinced that they form a portion of those lost tribes who disobeyed the commandment of God and were dispersed, but are now mingled with the original inhabitants of the country, and so degenerate in the form in which they now appear.
We've become degenerate. Degenerate, like the scriptures call us a degenerate plant. We're degenerates. They go throughout Africa. Our people are degenerates. Just like here in America, we amongst the white man and the other nations, we've become degenerate. Okay, give me the next page. Yes, sir.
Bishop, now you know where we learned the voodoo from. I'm glad you know it.
Oh, that's where y'all learn voodoo from? Okay. No, you're right. You're right. Hey, as a matter of fact, since you said it, hey, give me that precept in Isaiah chapter 1 about how the Haitians learn voodoo from the Philistines. They don't say Haitians, but Isaiah chapter, is it 1, 2, or 3? It's been a while. Chapter 2? Thank you. Yep, chapter 2, verse 6.
Isaiah chapter 2.
Start at 5.
In verse 5. O house of Jacob, come ye, and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
And that's the message we say to our brothers and sisters today. Come, let's walk in the light of the Lord. Go ahead.
Therefore, thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob.
The Lord forsook us. Go ahead.
Because they be replenished from the east.
Because we were replenished from the east. That's talking about Africa. Go ahead.
And our soothsayers.
And our soothsayers, witches, warlocks, voodoo practitioners.
Like the Philistines.
Like the Philistines. Go ahead.
And they please themselves in the children of strangers.
And we please ourselves in the children of the other nations. That's what it's saying. So that's the proof right there. All right. You put it on the screen. Just throw it up there. This is them. Put it on the screen. Is that on the screen, Yuri?
Yes, sir.
That's them right there. I know you're going to say that's not Haitians, but they all look alike. Give me
Come on.
You got another pic for me? Oh, don't send me no email. But you know, sisters, y'all very emotional. These just jokes. A sister from Haiti got so mad at Captain Hosea over saying something about Haiti. She got furious, left, and I think she went over to Mississippi. Sis, I said Captain O'Shea was joking. I tell jokes. Malachi joke on Judah all the time. Don't nobody get mad. How can we say something about Haiti, everybody mad?
Emotional, damn it.
Listen. People miss the message that's being said. Amongst us, we have a relationship that we communicate, we talk. And Bishop and all of us joke about each other's tribes. It's jokes, but it's not serious. You guys feed into that stuff and miss the whole message. You're missing the message. Like we talk about Judah, they're simps. You know, the majority of Judah's simp. Not you, Bishop. And they don't work. They don't like to go to work. And they, you know, we say, okay, stop.
Thank you. Go ahead, put it on the screen. C'est passé, ma boule. Hey, I don't know how many of y'all from New York. They got something called Juve at night, and they put powder on.
Yep. Yo, look at lava.
Oh, snap. Damn, daggone. But my point, we learned our people learned this from the East, from the Philistines. That's what we just read in the Bible. Everybody understand that? Okay, give me the next page, Alicia, please. Let's go to the next page. Read that, Officer Yuri.
The 10 tribes of Israel, after they were left to follow the dictates of their own mind, and during the commotion and destructive warfare which ensued, to escape utter extermination, migrated according to the usage of the times.
We migrated where? It's going to say where we migrated. Go ahead.
In vast numbers into various countries, but principally into northern Africa.
We principally went into northern Africa. Go ahead.
As it then presented the safest and easiest route. Once settled, every commotion and intestine war had the most powerful effect of inducing these migratory bands to shift their abode.
To shift their abode, meaning we kept moving. We didn't just stay in North Africa. We shifted our abode, shifted our places of dwelling. Go ahead.
Still further.
That includes west, central, and south. Go ahead.
And so lose all connection with the other branch of the tribe.
We lost connection with the other tribes of Israel that were in Africa. Go ahead.
As hundreds of years passed on.
Now the scholars let you know hundreds of years passed on with the Israelites in Africa. Go ahead.
And generation after generation roll away. They lose a great many of their habits and customs.
We lost our habits and customs.
Becoming more amalgamated.
Amalgamated means mixed, becoming more mixed. Go ahead.
With the population with which they associate.
Meaning the Philistines, the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Jebusites, the Amorites. Go ahead.
But when Mohammedanism overspread northern Africa.
But the Muslims came in throughout North Africa.
Destroying by fire and sword all those
of, give me the next page. Destroying by fire all those of what?
All those of another religion. The Israelitish descendants
started to destroy us. Go ahead.
Or the inhabitants occupying the central portion of Africa.
See that the Israelitish descendants or the inhabitants occupying the central portion of Africa. Today they call that the DRC, the Democratic Republic of Congo. Go ahead.
Pass forward, seeking shelter.
We sought shelter running from the Arabs. Go ahead.
To the south.
We ran to the south of Africa.
And west.
And the west of Africa.
Apart, namely those from the east central.
We went to East Africa as well. Go ahead.
Crossing the Benue or Joliba branch of the Niger.
The Niger River. Go ahead.
Descended gradually southward and became intermingled with the original inhabitants.
This is the third time it's letting us know we became intermingled with the original inhabitants, the Philistines, the Jebusites, Hittites, and Canaanites. Go ahead.
Protected from incursion on the north by the Benue River and quietly settled between the great Niger and Old Calabar rivers, they remained in peace and grew from one generation to another in idolatry.
We grew in idolatry from one generation to the next. Go ahead.
But still leaving tangible proofs in the form of their religion of the Judaistic origin of the inhabitants.
They said there was still evidence that these were the Jews. Go ahead, jump down to the next highlighted part.
The language or the little of it that is known is full of Hebraism.
They're saying the language throughout Africa is full of Hebrew words. See, we don't know that because today we consider Hebrew that Yiddish stuff that Amalek speak. And it sounds completely different from the languages in Africa. So we go, no. The scholars are saying, no. What they're speaking in Africa, those languages are filled with Hebrewism. Everybody see that? Go ahead.
The constructions of sentences, the verbal significations, the mode of comparison.
Okay, that's all I sent from there. So now, brothers, sisters, the Bible is the only ancient book that prophesies about our people and what would happen to us and the nations, what those nations would do and what would happen to those nations. Give me that in Jeremiah 3:2 now. Now, I'm going to reference many of the same scriptures we often touch on because I'm not giving Islam a pass. They ain't getting no pass. Okay. Come on.
Jeremiah chapter 3, verse 2. Lift up thine eyes unto the high places.
So God tells Jeremiah the prophet, lift up your eyes unto the high places. Go ahead.
And see where thou hast not been lined with.
And see where you have not been corrupted with.
In the ways hast thou sat for them as the Arabian in the wilderness.
We sat for the Arab nations in the wilderness, in Mecca. They've enslaved us and forced Islam on our people. Now, the Quran don't tell us about that, but the Bible does. If you sit down with any Muslim, ask them, show us the prophecies on what would happen to our people, our black and brown people. Show us. They can't do it. Now, nail one of them. I don't care if they Nation of Islam. I don't care if they Shiite or Sunni. They can't do it. Was that it?
And thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness.
And by us learning Islam, we've polluted the land with our whoredoms, okay, and wickedness. So it's telling you the religions of the Arabs are whorish and it's wicked. That's what the Bible say. That's what the Bible say. I didn't say it. That's what the Bible say. Deuteronomy 32:16. Elisha, give me the picture of the Kaaba stone, please. The ones with them kissing it. Yuri, I want Deuteronomy 32:16.
Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 16.
Mm-hmm.
They provoked him to jealousy with strange.
Wait. You're going too fast for me. When it says Moses is prophesying, wait a minute. Let me get it, Yuri, first. Let me look at it. It might be something else I want in there too. Let me look. Read verse 1 and 2 first.
Yes, sir. Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 1. Give ear, O ye heavens, and I will speak, and hear, O earth, the words of my mouth.
So the Lord wants heaven and earth to hear the words of these prophecies. Go ahead.
My doctrine shall drop as the rain.
When it says my doctrine shall drop as the rain, give me that in Proverbs 4 and 2. What is the doctrine of God?
Proverbs chapter 4, verse 2.
And stop going so fast.
I apologize.
Go ahead.
Proverbs chapter 4, verse 2.
This is the doctrine.
For I give you good doctrine.
I give you good doctrine.
Forsake ye not my law.
My what?
My law.
My what?
My law.
That's the doctrine of God. Let's go back. Let's go on back here to verse 2 again.
Deuteronomy chapter 32 and verse 2. My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass.
So what is the Lord saying? He's saying that what he speaks in this book is going to cover heaven and earth. It's already in heaven. Now has to be covered on the entire earth. Everybody understand that? Read it again. Read it again.
My doctrine shall drop as the rain. My speech shall distill as the dew, as the small rain upon the tender herb, and as the showers upon the grass.
Read.
Because I will publish the name of the Lord. Ascribe ye greatness unto our God.
Ascribe ye greatness unto our God. Jump down to verse 16 now, just to get to the point.
Verse 16. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
So the Lord is telling Moses to tell us in the wilderness that we would provoke the Lord to wrath. Read it again.
They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods.
With strange gods.
With abominations provoked they him to anger.
Read.
They sacrificed unto devils.
See what it says? That the Israelites would sacrifice unto devils. I want you to think about it for a second. We just came out of Egypt with Moses. Okay? Now the Lord has given Moses prophetic prophecies of what's going to happen. Read again, verse 17.
They sacrifice unto devils, not to God.
That we would not sacrifice to God, that we would sacrifice to devils come the future. Go ahead.
To gods whom they knew not.
We would sacrifice to gods whom we knew not. Go ahead.
To new gods.
To new gods. To new gods.
That came newly up.
That would come newly up. Go ahead.
Whom your fathers feared not.
Whom our fathers feared not. Give me another one. I don't like that picture. I can't even see what's going on. It's spread out. Yeah, give me that one. Put that one up. This is the Kaaba stone in Mecca. When you make your Hajj, the word Hajj is Arabic for pilgrimage. You must go there and kiss this rock. Lick the stone, anime. Lick the stone. That's idolatry. Okay, this came 610 years after the birth of Christ. Everybody understand that? Write that down. Give me that in Jeremiah. Keep it on the screen. Keep them on the screen. Give me that Jeremiah 2. Come on, Yuri. You know what I want. Or do you?
Yes, sir. I'm flipping there, sir.
Saying to my mama, you a rock.
Yes, sir. Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 27. Saying to a stock.
Saying to a piece of wood, that's what a stock is, a piece of wood.
Thou art my father.
You are my daddy. Go ahead.
And
this is what they do in Christianity. That's what they did. Go ahead.
And to a stone.
And to a stone. This is what the Muslims do.
Thou hast brought me forth.
Oh, alhamdulillah, Allah, thou hast brought me forth. Read it again.
Saying to a stock.
Saying to a piece of wood. This is what the Christians do.
Thou art my father.
You are my daddy.
And to a stone.
And this is what the Muslims do. To a rock, the Kaaba stone.
Thou hast brought me forth.
Thou hast brought me forth. Is that it, Yuri?
For they have turned their back unto me.
For us, the Israelites, we've turned our back against the Lord.
And not their face.
And not our face.
But in the time of their trouble, they will say, arise and save us. But where are thy gods that thou hast made thee? Let them arise, if they can save thee in the time of thy trouble. For according to the numbers of thy cities are thy gods, O Judah.
That's how many gods we had set up during this time and now today. That's why we got churches on every block. According to the number of our cities was the number of the according of the gods we worshiped. Okay? Give me Psalms 96 and 5.
The book of Psalms, chapter 96 and verse 5. For all the gods of the nations are idols.
The Bible says, all the gods of the nations, that includes Arabia, that includes America, that includes China, Japan, Africa, that includes, what did I miss? Britain. Read it again.
For all the gods of the nations are idols.
Are what?
Are idols.
Are idols. I didn't say it. That's what the Bible says. That's what Moses said. You have sacrificed to devils. So the devils Moses was talking about are the idols our people serve today. Everybody understand? Psalms 83. What? Psalms 83, Psalms 83, Psalms 83. Let's start at verse 1, please.
Psalms chapter 83 and verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God.
So now, David is asking God not to keep silence. Let me give an example of what he's talking about. I'm going to help you. What does it mean, keep thou not silence, O God? Give me Luke 18, please. The parable, the dark saying that Christ gave. Only the elect. Now, I pray I'm part of the elect. I don't want to be too presumptuous. But only the elect is God is going to give this understanding to, and the elect's going to apply it. Luke 18. This is a dark saying. This is a parable not found in any church. Thank you.
Luke chapter 18 and verse 1.
I want all y'all to listen good.
And he spake a parable unto them to this end.
Now, a parable means an illustrated story. Another word for a parable is an allegory. Another word for that is a similitude or a metaphor or a dark sentence. Read.
And he spake a parable unto them to this end, that men ought always to pray and not to faint.
So the preacher will read that and say, see, it's talking about prayer. Yes, sir, preacher. Yes, sir. It's talking about we ought always to pray and not faint, meaning don't give up. Don't stop praying what I'm about to tell you to pray for. Go ahead.
Saying, there was in a city a judge.
Wait. Let me get it. You know I'm all slow. Read it again, Yuri.
Verse 2, saying, there was in a city a judge, which feared not God, neither regarded man. And there was a widow in that city, and she came unto him, saying, avenge me of mine adversary.
She said to this widow, said to the unjust judge, to this judge, avenge me of mine adversary, meaning my enemy. I want vengeance. Go ahead.
And he would not for a while.
And the judge would not for a while. He ignored this widow that kept crying to him. Go ahead.
But afterward he said within himself, though I fear not God, nor regard man, yet because this widow troubleth me, I will avenge her, lest by her continual coming she weary me. And the Lord said.
Now he's going to break down this parable for us. In case y'all don't believe what I say, Christ is going to make it plain right here.
Hear what the unjust judge saith. And shall not God avenge his own elect?
Wait a minute. So this parable of the judge and the widow represented God and the elect. Who's the elect? You ever give me that? Is it Isaiah 43? You know, I forget. Give me the one about the elect.
Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 4.
Thank you.
For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect.
So Israel is God's elect. So let's go on back. Let's go back. Ooh, this is good. I like this right here. Going back to Luke 18 and 6 again.
Verse 6. And the Lord said, hear what the unjust judge saith. And shall not God avenge his own elect?
And shall not God avenge the Israelites? Go ahead.
Which cry day and night unto him.
Which cry day and night unto him?
Though he bear long with them.
Read.
I tell you that he will avenge them speedily.
He will avenge them speedily. Vengeance, 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 vengeance. Read.
Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth?
Now, why do you ask that? Because nobody's teaching that. Nobody's doing that. Preachers ain't doing that. Our people in Islam ain't doing that. Now, as we're waking up, our eyes have been opened up. Pray for vengeance. Pray for vengeance against our enemies. We supposed to pray for that and not faint, not give up. Y'all understand that? Yes, wait a minute. Hey, Elisha. I want the picture of Angela Carr, who was just murdered. I want the picture of the brother, what's his name? Gerald Legueux. Hold on. Wait a minute. Somebody hold on, wait a minute. If you ain't found, I'm going to find it for you. Anybody got it, send it to Alicia? Because it just popped into my head. It ain't in my notes. But since we're talking about this, yes, them three right there. Put it on the screen. The churches are supposed to be praying for vengeance against the people that did this to Angela Carr, Gerald Gallion, A.J. Legueux Jr. We're supposed to pray for vengeance. Understand this, and this is in Florida. When the governor said, take black history out of the schools, that's code. I'm going to tell y'all straight. It's code for Black Lives Don't Matter. Put it back on the screen. That's code for Black Lives Don't Matter. That's open season on our people. I need y'all to understand that. For them teaching slavery benefited the slaves, that it made you good citizens, made us productive, taught us skills. Why don't they say the Holocaust benefited them damn bastards from Germany? How come nobody says that? I want y'all to see the injustice. This is evil. We're supposed to pray for vengeance. Okay? We are supposed to pray for vengeance. That's what Christ commanded us to do in this dark parable. And this is what he said. What you hear in the ear, I want y'all to publicize this. Remember we read at the beginning of the lesson. Now us teaching, if people going to get mad, no. Hey, give me the prayer. Elisha, I need you just go back out. But it said ministers pray for their families. There's a picture. Elisha. Go back out. Go back out again. Prayer vigil for victims of the Florida shooting. Prayer vigil. I know I put it on Instagram because I took a picture of it. Go down, let me look. Okay. Okay, let's put that on the screen. Just put that on the screen. The whole thing. Yeah, go back out. Now I want y'all to see. Now you see the black woman with the pink, got a hand up. You see that's Governor Ron DeSatan right there. Raise it up. Okay, now you see, okay, y'all see the churches right there? Praying on it. Now I understand the grief. Raise it up, but you see the church ladies there. Raise it up. Oh, right there, that's it, right? Yep, right. No, down. Their hands is holding right there. That one. You see it, Alicia? No, Alicia. It's too, yes. Alicia, Raise it up again. Lower it down. Lower it. Lower it. Right there. Yellow shirt. Yes. The ministers got to, yeah, put it big on the screen. I just want y'all to see. Make it big. The ministers came there to pray for the people. I guarantee you they weren't praying for vengeance. I'm telling you, I know they're not doing that. I know they're praying about the love of Jesus, forgive and forget. I know that's what they're doing because I've been there, done that. And it's evil. It's disobedient to the words of God. Disobedient ministers who don't know the scriptures. Okay? Get mad if you want. Go back to Psalms 83. And 1.
Psalm chapter 83, verse 1. Keep not thou silence, O God.
Now we know what David means. Vengeance, Lord. Vengeance on our enemies. Don't keep silence. Go ahead.
Hold not thy peace.
Don't hold your peace, O Lord. This is the same thing the widow prayed. Go ahead.
And be not still, O God. For lo, thine enemies.
Lo, thine enemies.
Make a tumult. And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
These nations have lifted up the head. Go ahead.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
The beginning of crafty counsel, brothers and sisters, is slavery. That's the beginning. After that, crafty counsel included black codes, followed by Jim Crow, followed by what they call civil rights for the denizens. That's right, you ain't citizens. We are all denizens. Look it up, niggas. Look it up. We're not citizens here. We are denizens. Okay? That's the beginning of crafty counsel. Redlining, that's crafty counsel. The school system, school to prison pipeline, that's crafty counsel. The medical industry, if your children is a little bit unruly, crafty counsel. They give them that medicine. Okay? They give them, they say they diagnosed them with ADHD, with Ritalin. All that stuff got little bits of cocaine in there. I forgot the exact, you know the words in that? And the Ritalin that they give our people, the children, mainly the black boys. There's some of that medication got little bits of cocaine in it. Okay, I forgot which medication it is.
Well, there's a few of them. I don't know the exact ingredients, but they have Ativan, Haldor, Zyprexa, Zoloft. There's a whole lot of them.
That makes our kids more crazy. It puts a damn docile spirit on. They just sit there. Now your children are never the same. Okay. Back to Psalms 83 before I lose top. Go. What are you gonna say, Bishop?
Seroquel, that's another one. So they got a whole list of them.
Where we at, Yuri?
Psalms chapter 83, verse 3. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
We're the people of God. Go ahead.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Now, what I showed y'all in those books at the beginning of the lesson, all that deals with crafty counsel. All that deals with what we're reading here. They hide that from us. The Spirit had to be on us to seek these things out. Brothers and sisters finding these books, saying, hey, look what it says here. And you don't find them books in the African-American book section. They say, no, don't put it there. Read.
They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
See that? They know that we're the Israelites. That's what I showed you. They know what the Bible says, but they know the churches were set up. Thank you. The churches were set up to teach crafty counsel as well. Read.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
So the plan, the goal, their aim is so that the name of Israel would be no more in our remembrance. Go ahead.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
So these nations that hate God have conspired together. Go ahead.
They are confederate against thee.
All the nations are confederate against the one true God. This is what the Bible prophesies. I'm not making nothing up. Go ahead.
The tabernacles of Edom.
The first nation confederate against God is Edom. Elisha, Edom. Now, I don't know if you got that book. I should have put it in, but I don't have it, where it tells you that Rome was the Edomites. The Greeks, the Romans empire were the Edomites. Edom is all your Caucasians. Okay? You got it, Lisha, or you don't? If you ain't got it, no, I don't think that tells you that. That's a dictionary, right? Does it say anything that I need? I think it just says Edomites, descendant of Esau. No. Thank you, Alicia. Thank you. It's my fault. I should have had it for you. I got many books on it. But anyway, read that again.
The tabernacles of Edom and the Ishmaelites.
Now, that's what I wanted to get to anyway. The Ishmaelites. Okay, you can put that on the screen. Idumea, pertaining to Edom, Greek and Roman name for Edom, because the Greeks in Rome were Edomites. Okay? Give me the Ishmaelites. Elisha, the Ishmaelites. We went over this last week. In the Bible dictionary, it tells you who the Ishmaelites are. I know I should have had it ready for y'all, but I did take the liberty that y'all would have it on file. I don't think that's it, Alicia. It's in the Zondervan Bible Dictionary. Find me that. Any of you brothers got the Zondervan Bible Dictionary? Come on, y'all over there. Come on. This ain't for. I'm preaching to the choir with y'all. Y'all know who the Ishmaelites are, but I want this to go out for our brothers and sisters at home who may not know who Ishmael is. Y'all got me? It should be in the telegram. Bottom at the telegram. So, as you get that, Alicia, so what I'm showing you is that the first nation that God mentions that David has to get vengeance against is Edom. That's the Caucasians. The second nation mentioned are Ishmaelites. Okay, zoom in on that. At the bottom. Read that. It's not highlighted, but where it says all Arabs.
All Arabs, following Muhammad's example, claim descent from Ishmael.
That's the Ishmaelites. The Arabs are the Ishmaelites, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So, give me the next picture, Alicia. I want the Hajj. Hajj, H-A-J-J. Put it on the screen. Officer Yuri.
Hajj takes place during the same period each year. During the month of Dhul Hijjah, the 12th month in the Islamic calendar. Hajj begins on the 8th of the Dhul Hijjah and lasts until the 13th of the Dhul Hijjah. This year, Hajj is taking place between 26th of June to the 1st of July 2023 in the Gregorian calendar.
So there was a certain time period you had to make your Hajj, your pilgrimage to Mecca. Okay? Now, give me the next. Yep. Now I'm going to Malcolm X for a second.
April. Early in 1964, on March 8th, Malcolm X announced his split from the Nation of Islam. His first major move after the split was to travel to the Middle East and Africa from the 13th of April to the 21st of May, primarily to perform pilgrimage, the Hajj, in Mecca, then to visit other cities.
So Malcolm X went to Mecca to perform his Hajj, his pilgrimage, in 1964, around March 8th. Okay? Everybody see that, right? Everybody see that, right? Okay. So and that's going to play a key part. Give me the clip I sent you about Malcolm X in Mecca, 1964. Is that it? Okay, play that. How long is it?
Never have I witnessed.
Okay, we're not going to watch the entire 5 minutes. I just want 2 minutes of it for time's sake.
Never have I witnessed such sincere hospitality and overwhelming spirit of true brotherhood as it is practiced by the people of all colors and races here in the ancient Holy Land. the home of Abraham, Muhammad, and all the other prophets of the Holy Scriptures. For the past week, I have been utterly speechless and spellbound by the graciousness I see displayed all around me by people of all colors. I have been blessed to visit the holy city of Mecca. I have made my 7 circuits around the Kaaba, led by a young mutawaf named Muhammad. I drank water from the well of Zamzam. I ran 7 times back and forth between the hills of Mount Safa and Marwa. I have prayed in the ancient city of Mina, and I have prayed on Mount Arafah. There were tens of thousands of pilgrims from all over the world. They were of all colors, from blue-eyed blondes to black-skinned Africans. But we were all participating in the same ritual, displaying a spirit of unity and brotherhood that my experiences in America had led me to believe never could exist between the white and the non-white. America needs to understand Islam, because this is the one religion that erases from its society the race problem. Throughout my travels in the Muslim world, I have met, talked to, and even eaten with people who in America would have been considered white. But the white attitude was removed from their minds by the religion of Islam. I have never before seen sincere and true brotherhood practiced by all colors together, irrespective of their color. You may be shocked by these words coming from me, but on this pilgrimage, what I have seen and experienced has forced me to rearrange much of my thought patterns previously held, and to toss aside some of my previous conclusions. This was not too difficult for me. Despite my firm convictions, I have always been a man who tries to face facts and to accept the reality of life as new experience and new knowledge unfolds it. I have always kept an open mind, which is necessary to the flexibility that must go hand in hand with every form of intelligent search for truth.
Well, alrighty then. So, his Hajj to Mecca changed his mind about the race problems. He said Islam it didn't have the race issue. It was universal. It accepted all people. Religion of love. Okay. Give me the next video. Alicia. Malcolm, remember, I'm going to just say this, and I'm not meaning to be offensive. Malcolm's mind was broken. When he split from the Nation of Islam, his mind got shattered. And I say that for a reason. Give me the next clip. Yeah, of course.
If y'all go back and watch, there's a video that was put out. Actually, Gil Noble from Like It Is ABC television in New York. This was many years ago. He had interviewed 2 of the bodyguards that used to be with Malcolm X, and his bodyguards spoke about this time period here, because he was saying that because after he had left the Nation of Islam, Malcolm was without an organization. So that's what he was making a point that he said here, the men that was with him said he would have this world-renowned figure and not an organization. So that's because he was out of the Nation of Islam. So he was in that wilderness period that we was just talking about, Bishop, that we just mentioned. So that's when he went over to Mecca and came up with all of this. So just put a little context to what we're going over.
All right, Alicia, it's an article. I gave it to you in order. That what y'all got on this? Yeah, this is it. Yuri, read this for us.
Malcolm X in Mecca, 1964.
Remember, he went to Mecca. Keep that date. That date is very important. I'm stressing it for a reason. 1964. Go ahead.
A moment in history. Malcolm described his pilgrimage to Mecca in 1964 as a life-changing event that gave him a universal vision of justice for our planet. We could say more, but we will let Malcolm's own words tell the story. Mecca, Saudi Arabia, April 1964.
We're just going to read a paragraph or 2. Go ahead.
Never have I witnessed such sincere hospitality, an overwhelming spirit of true brotherhood.
Now, this is pretty much what we saw in the video. Okay, what we saw in the video is repeated here. So what we're going to do is go out of that. Give me the images, Alicia, of Malcolm. Okay, let's start there. Put it up. So I'm just going to go down memory lane. This is when he went to the what they call the Middle East. I know. Go ahead. You want to speak on it a second?
Well, they put that Middle East, everybody knows this already, but for the brothers and sisters at home that may not realize this, that term Middle East, they just put that there. they give you that term to make you think that it's separate from Africa. There's no such thing as a Middle East. That's like saying there's a Middle West. There's no such thing as that. They cut that up and try to separate Israel from Africa. Okay, but by building the Suez Canal and separating the two, but it's actually all of that was Africa. So that was it.
Exactly.
Or the land of Ham.
Right. Next picture. We see Malcolm in the center there. Okay. Doing his prayer. Give me the next picture. That's him making his prayer there. Give me the next picture. There's Malcolm again. Give me the next picture. That's him sitting down with, I believe his name is King Faisal. Anybody know his name? King Faisal or Faizan? Anybody know what I'm talking about? Nobody know his name? Hey, type in his name, Alicia. Malcolm and King F-A-I-Z. I can't remember how it's spelled. I just want to make sure I get a name right. Malcolm X and King something. I think it's Faizal. Huh? Yeah, how you spell it? F-A-I-S-A-L? Okay. That's it. Put it on the screen so everybody can see it. Yeah, that's it. Malcolm X meets King Faisal Al Saud, 1964. Okay. So, give me the next picture, Alicia. Okay, and the next one. This one he became El Malik. El Haj Malik. Say it. I'm messing up.
No. El Haj Malik Shabazz. Damn, I had it right when I said it to you. Now I can't remember it. Oh God.
Shabazz. That's when he got rid of the X and got his Islamic name.
El Haj Malik El Shabazz.
Okay. Give me the next picture with him. Malcolm and Martin came together. Both of them, remember, Martin had realized that he had integrated his people into a burning house and that all his efforts were futile. He joined with Malcolm, and this is what white society did not want to happen. And shortly after this, Malcolm was assassinated, followed behind King being assassinated. Give me the next book, Officer Alicia, please. History of the Jews. So I'm going to go back to history just for a second. Read that.
The history of the Jews from the destruction of Jerusalem to the present time.
When was this book published?
1818.
Okay, let's go inside the highlighted sections, please.
Muhammad, the famous Arabian impostor, appeared in the early...
So that Muhammad is who they call the Prophet Muhammad today. They call him at times, they spelled it like that sometimes in the past. Go ahead.
AD 609. Muhammad, the famous Arabian impostor, appeared in the early part of the 7th century and established a new religion, which by force of arms made a rapid progress in the world. Many of the Jews, after the destruction of their country, had fled to Arabia.
So they're letting you know that some of us even fled to Arabia in 70 AD. Jump down.
Their number and respectability induced Muhammad at first to treat them with great attention. He ordered his followers, when they prayed, to turn towards the temple of Jerusalem.
So Islam at one time faced Jerusalem. Go ahead.
And adopted many of their opinions and customs in order to engage them in his interest.
Hey, give me that in 1 Kings 8, where it said, pray towards this house. If they pray towards this land, this house.
1 Kings chapter 8 and verse 48. And so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul in the land of their enemies, which led them.
Start at 47, I'm sorry.
Verse 47. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves.
If the Israelites, our people, shall bethink themselves. This is King Solomon's prayer. Go ahead.
In the land whither they were carried captives.
In the land where they were carried captives, that's America today.
And repent.
And repent.
And make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captives, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely. We have committed wickedness.
Read.
And so return unto thee with all their heart.
Hey, you know what, Elisha? Elisha, find me the map for the sub-Saharan slave trade. The map. We used it last week. I'm just want to touch, and we're coming back to that book. Don't X out of that book. Give me the map of the sub-Saharan slave trade where it said where the slaves were taken. Okay, that's good. Put it on the screen. The reason I'm going in because it says if we repent in the lands where we were taken captive. Some of the lands we were taken captive, you can see Reunion that at the bottom. Yuri, read these lands for me, please.
Yes, sir. Reunion, Mauritius, Sri Lanka, Colombo.
Where you at?
I'm at the top of the map now. I moved up.
Where's Colombo?
Over by Sri Lanka on the right side.
Okay, I see Sri Lanka. Okay, Sri Lanka, our people are there. Go where the arrowheads are, the arrowheads, right. Go ahead.
Sri Lanka.
Go up.
Cochin.
This is India.
Mangalore, Madras, Goa, Mumbai, Diu, Surat, Gujarat, Karachi, Sindh.
That's all India. Y'all see India right there. They know our people were taken to India. Okay. Now go over to Arabia. Right there. See it said right there? Move it over. Yeah, that's Arabia. Move over to the right. Muscat. Okay. Move it again. Move it. Muscat. All of that Saudi Arabia right there. Okay. So look, we go up to the top. You see Iran at the top. Iran, go over where it says Pakistan. They know that our people were taken to these places. So go back to 1 Kings 8. This is what I want y'all to see. This is why our job, our message is so big. Verse 47 again.
Yes, sir.
Because we think we'll read 47 and 48 and we'll say America. It is America, but it's beyond America. Read.
Yet, if they shall bethink themselves in the land whither they were carried captives, and repent.
And what?
And repent.
Read.
And make supplication.
Beg. Supplication means to beg the Lord.
Unto thee in the land of them that carried them captives, saying, we have sinned.
We got to say this with our mouth. We have sinned.
And have done perversely.
We must confess we've done perversely.
We have committed wickedness.
Read.
And so return unto thee with all their heart and with all their soul.
Where?
In the land of their enemies.
In the land of our enemies, which was where? That's Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Reunion, Mauritius, Iran, Iraq. Those are just examples of some of the lands. Go ahead.
Which led them away captive and pray unto thee toward their land.
What? And pray what?
Pray unto thee toward their land.
This is why we face Jerusalem. Because the Lord commanded us to do that through Solomon. Everybody understand that? And guess what, brothers? It's not always the East. I'm going to say it again. Brothers be saying face the East. No, it's face Jerusalem. Put a map up. Put a map. I got to show you. Put a map of world map. Put a world map up, Elisha. And I want to see Jerusalem. That's fine, I guess. Yep, that's fine. Can you zoom in, zoom? All right, where's Jerusalem? Where is Jerusalem? All right, put the highlight there, that little magnifying glass so they can see it. All right, y'all see Israel right there, right? Everybody see that? So now we're in the United States. When we face Jerusalem, yes, that's eastward. Everybody see that? But now let's say if you're down, go down in Africa, go down. Let's say like we were just, let's go to South Africa. We were just there. Is that east? No, that would be more northward, right? Okay, and if we're in India, go over to India. Captain Joel and Captain O'Shea, Captain Orell was just in India. If they pray to Jerusalem, which way is that? That's west. So it's not stand and face the east, it's stand and face what? Jerusalem. Very good. All praises. All praises. Let's go back to the book now, Elisha. Now, where were we at?
I'll read the bottom paragraph again.
Okay.
Sir. Their number and respectability induced Muhammad at first to treat them with great attention. He ordered his followers, when they prayed, to turn towards the temple of Jerusalem.
That's why,
And adopted many of their opinions and customs in order to engage them in his interests.
Give me the next page. Zoom in. Go ahead.
The Arabian writers assert that this nation,
The Jews.
sent 12 of their doctors to assist him in compiling the Quran.
So the Israelite, remember, Muhammad was illiterate. The Jews helped this Arab dude write the Quran. This is why they was facing Jerusalem and all of that. That was the beginning. Go down. Next highlighted. Read.
In his Quran, he reproaches them with betraying and murdering the prophets.
Now this Muhammad got mad at us. So in the Quran, he reproaches the Jews with betraying and murdering the prophets, which was true. Go ahead, watch this.
And styles them a people justly cursed of God
Deuteronomy 28. Go ahead.
for their violation of his Sabbath
Because we broke the Sabbath
and laws,
and we broke all God's laws.
for their treatment of Jesus Christ.
So Muhammad understood that we are the people of God, the Israelites. Give me the next book. Next book. Yep.
The art of Dow building in Kuwait.
Now, the only reason I wanted this is because DHOW, Dow, that's what they call that type of a ship. Okay, I had to look it up because when we go into the next book, it uses that word, DHOW, Dow. I didn't know what it was. I had to look it up. And it's a type of ship. Give me the next book.
Slavery in the Arab World by Murray Gordon.
Next book. Inside the book. Zoom in.
And decades after the last ship sailed westward toward the Americas and the West Indies, where slavery had been abolished by the early 1870s, Arab dhows
Wait, you see it? Arab dhows, that's what I wanted, meaning Arab ships. Arab slave ships. So that first part about the ships, we know America. That's why I said I got to stress it. It's Muslims. Because they'll put words be like, dhow, what the hell is that? We won't know what he's talking about. They're talking about slave ships. Read that again, Arab what?
Arab dhows were furtively moving out of Zanzibar, Mombasa, and other East African ports, following the familiar Indian Ocean routes for the consignment of ebony.
Now listen, slavery was outlawed by Britain. So the lie they called, remember you had to have cargo. What kind of cargo is on your ship? They said ebony. But it was really our bodies. Y'all know what ebony, like ebony wood? They got ebony granite, things like they call ebony.
You don't find that suspicious?
Right. They called us the ebony. Go ahead.
The masters of these fast lateen-rigged ships were methodically packed in sardine-like fashion with men, women, and children.
Arabs did the same thing. What are you going to say, Bishop?
Just like those depictions that you see about the transatlantic slave trade with our bodies, they did the same thing here. Exact same deal.
Exactly. Can you put some ships up on the screen? Right, that's ebony. You can put it on the screen. That's the ebony wood right there. That's ebony. That's what they said, oh, ebony's on our ship, when the British would stop them. This was after the emancipation. They called us ebony. So go find me some slave ships. Hey, maybe type in, I don't know if they got Arab slave. I doubt they'll have any.
So we only think that that's talking about us coming over here. But as we are referencing in that historical book, it said that we would pack. Go back to that writing again. Keep the slave ship up there. To the thing that we was reading. Yes. Find a part in there where it said about how we were packed in there. The last book that we just had.
Yeah, zoom in.
Zoom in. Bring that up here. You see the part where it says...
Methodically packed?
Yeah, where's the part at? It said packed like sardines. Yes, the masters of these fast lateen-rigged ships, which were methodically packed in sardine-like fashion with men, women, and children. Show the other picture again. The slave ships. So it's letting you know that what was going on here was the same thing. That's what. Oh Lord, go ahead, Bishop, take it.
No, guys said this right there.
This is not what I'm asking about. The thing that we just saw.
Slave ships. Remember, it said we were packed in like sardines. The one you showed, we weren't packed in like sardines. Okay, back to this one. So these are the only ones they got. You pissed the bishop off now. It's going to be all right, Bishop. It's going to be okay. All right, let's go back to the book. Those are slave ships, all right. These are the ones we're familiar with the Caucasians. Get the book back up on the screen. Yuri?
The masters of these fast lateen-rigged ships, which were methodically packed in sardine-like fashion with men, women, and children, maneuvered skillfully in evading the small force of British sloops.
See, they had to evade the smaller force of British sloops. The British was going on making sure slavery had ended, okay? So they would stop the ships on the oceans, but the Arabs had these quick, smaller ships. Go ahead.
Charged with the impossible mission of interdicting this illicit traffic.
Meaning slave trade. Go ahead.
The blacks caught up in this trade were fated to be sold in the slave marts of Arabia.
Wait. It says the blacks caught up in this trade were fated to be sold in the slave marts of Arabia. So we were sold in Arabia too. Go ahead.
The Persian Gulf.
We were sold in the Persian Gulf too. Go ahead.
The Ottoman Empire.
That's Turkey. Go ahead.
And India.
So we don't talk about this. Give me the next book. Next inside the same book, next page, Right there at the bottom, zoom in. Read.
That these questions were raised and discussed so seriously within the context of the enslavement of blacks leads one to believe that they were the main victims of the widespread practice of enslavement of Muslims by Muslims.
Wait. Do y'all see that? The enslavement of Muslims by Muslims. Go ahead.
It clearly indicates that slavery in Islam,
listen good,
a religion largely free of racism,
like Malcolm said, it's free of racism,
struck harshly and unfairly at people with black skin.
Do you hear this? Do you hear this? What's wrong with black folks today? The scholars know what happened. Y'all keep playing games in Islam out there. Give me the next page, please. Because some of us, they used to castrate. And watch what that says. Zoom in.
When
I say castrate, they used to cut our rods off to make sure you did not sex their mothers, wives, or daughters. Read that.
Many young castrates served as guards, messengers, and not uncommonly as confidants to their owners.
Watch this.
Many were sent to guard the holy ground of the Kaaba in Mecca.
Read.
And the tomb of the prophet in Medina.
So as slaves, they made us watch the Kaaba stone. We had to guard the Kaaba, and we had to guard the tomb of old demon, the prophet, what he calls self-proclaimed prophet. That's how they used the black slaves. Everybody understand this? Okay, give me the inside next page. Y'all keep playing. Zoom in.
African slaves played a useful role in accompanying their masters on the arduous pilgrimage to Mecca.
So the slaves had to accompany their masters on their Hajj. That's the pilgrimage to Mecca. Go ahead.
Known as the Hajj.
Go ahead.
This act is incumbent upon all Muslims.
All Muslims got to do this.
Who are possessed with the means to carry out such a journey. Its purpose is to provide Muslims with a conception of Islam as a universal religion and the consciousness of sharing a common religious heritage.
Next page.
The sale of so many slaves from different parts of Muslim Africa.
Read it again.
The sale of so many slaves from different parts of Muslim Africa, as well as from India and Java, helped assure a continuing rich and varied supply of servile labor in the slave markets of Mecca.
In the slave markets of Mecca. Go ahead.
And Jeddah. Pilgrims arriving from Iraq.
Pilgrims arriving from Iraq,
Syria,
Persia,
and other parts of the Middle East frequented these markets.
They frequented these markets, and what they do?
And many brought back with them newly purchased slaves.
Do y'all see this? So we were slaves in Iraq, Syria, and Persia, and other parts of what they call the Middle East. Do y'all see this? How come Muslims don't talk about this? Give me the next page. Yeah, give me that. So this is one of the most
prominent, Eldon Rudder, who spent a great part of his life in Saudi Arabia and wrote sympathetically about the country in his book, The Holy Cities of Arabia, said in a lecture delivered to the Royal Asian Society in London in 1933. Slavery exists in every part of Arabia.
Slavery exists in every part of Arabia. Go ahead.
Except Aden.
Except Aden. Go ahead.
As a normal social institution.
It's normal. Go ahead.
But I have only seen one slave market where slaves are displayed in a public place like merchandise.
Where's that at?
This was in Mecca.
Where?
Mecca.
Mecca. They'd have us displayed the same place Malcolm went. Go ahead.
In a narrow street called Souk El Abid, slave market.
Give me the next page, 44. Y'all keep on playing with these Muslims out here who tell you a half truth and not no truth at all. Give me that, read that.
There has been a distinct, albeit muted, feeling of racism, which, as we shall later see, was evident in Arab practices and attitudes towards Africans.
Arabs have racist views towards what they call Africans, meaning black people. Jump down.
That slavery persisted as long as it did in the Muslim world. It was only abolished in Saudi Arabia in 1962.
Stop! Right there. What year did Malcolm go to Mecca? If he had been there a few years earlier, Malcolm might have been a slave. Just 2 years. 2 years difference. Y'all keep on playing with these. Read that again. Read it again.
That slavery persisted as long as it did in the Muslim world. It was only abolished in Saudi Arabia in 1962 and as late as 1981 in Mauritania.
Wow.
Owed much to the fact that it was deeply anchored in Islamic law.
Wait a minute. Muslims don't tell us that. Assalamu alaikum. Slavery is deeply anchored in Islamic law. Y'all keep on playing. Keep on playing. I'm going to Dubai. You're going to find yourself a slave one day.
That's a setup, bro.
Keep on playing. Give me the next page. Zoom in on that.
The association in the Arab mind of black people with slavery can be seen in the language itself. By medieval times, white slaves were known as Mamluks.
Mamluks, they call white ones. That's like in the movie Taken, where they grab the white girls and they take her like to Eastern Europe and all that. So in Saudi Arabia, they did the same thing. Go ahead.
An Arabic word meaning owned, while the term abd was reserved for black slaves. In time, the word abd lost its exclusive meaning and came to mean a black person.
Because they still use that word today, abd.
Regardless whether he was slave or free.
Next page. It's another word like nigger. Let's zoom in.
The negative attitudes displayed by Arabs towards blacks.
Cause you know the Arabs got them little bodegas all and y'all be, hey, shalom aki, all that crap. Go ahead. Move me off the screen. I want to read the whole thing.
The negative attitudes displayed by Arabs towards blacks were rooted in feelings of racial prejudice and cultural superiority.
Cultural superiority. Go ahead.
Although Islam is, as a religion, has been singularly free of racism, the Arabs, like many other peoples, have not been immune to this form of prejudice. Many Arabs were of the view that blacks were racially inferior people, a point of view that found expression in the writings of a number of early Arab writers and scholars. While some Arab scholars wrote about blacks in a compassionate way, a larger number revealed critical, if not outright hostile feelings. Those who harbored such sentiments toward these people from the South considered blacks to be primitive and ignorant people, untrustworthy, and lacking in the human graces. Some writers dwelt upon the physical features of blacks, complaining of their woolly hair, smelly bodies, ungainly facial features, and lack of self-control.
Wow, now you can't make this stuff up. Give me the next book. Give me the next book. Read that, Yuri.
Race and Slavery in the Middle East. An Historical Inquiry, Bernard Lewis.
Let's go inside. Okay. Zoom in at the bottom so we can see where this painting, this nice, beautiful painting is from.
The Funeral of the Sultan's Mother, Nur Banu, with eunuchs in the background.
Go ahead.
Istanbul, 15...
So Istanbul is in Turkey, 1597. This is Turkey. So the eunuchs, they called in the book we just read, castrates. So let's go back. Bring it down so we can see the eunuchs, which are the castrates. Bring it down. Bring it down. There we go, back there. See, you can't even see them. They're so black, it's in the back. In the back. See right there? Put the highlight. It's right there. Yep, that's us back there. The eunuchs. See, we'll look at a picture and go, oh, that's a pretty picture. But meanwhile, they got us as black slaves with our rods cut off in the back there. Give me the next painting, please. Zoom in at the bottom. Read.
Princes, pages, and eunuchs at an evening party by the Golden Horn. Istanbul, circa 1720 to 1732.
So this is Turkey again. Raise it up. No, bring it back. Yeah. There we go, right? See us with the head wraps on right there? Behind them? That's us right there. Pull back so we can see the whole thing. Yeah, so when you scan up, you find us right back there. Now, you may ask why the eunuchs important. Remember the book of Daniel. Daniel and the 3 Hebrews, they were under the chief of the eunuchs. You could not work in the palace amongst the women and all that and have your rod hanging out. That didn't happen. You was castrated. Give me the next picture. Read the bottom.
The chief black eunuch conducts the young prince to the circumcision ceremony.
So that he can have a penis, the other guy, but the chief of the eunuchs, the black guy, he had to be a eunuch. They cut his rod off.
Damn.
This is Turkey once again.
Istanbul, circa 1720 to 1732.
Give me the next one. Zoom in at the bottom.
Isfandiar, slaying the black sorceress, Iran, early 16th century.
So in Iran, this is the painting of them killing the black woman. They called her a black sorceress. That's her with her head cut off. That's in Iran. In Iran. Give me the next picture.
The heir apparent Mehmed at the Ibrahim Pasha Palace with eunuchs, Istanbul, 1597.
That's 2 of the eunuchs right there. Go further up, you see a bunch right there. These are the slaves that was brought over to these countries. Next one. Bottom.
Iskandar fighting the Zanjis, Habashis, Kazvin, circa 1590, 1594.
Okay. Hey, look up Kazvin. I think it's Iran. I could be mistaken or I forgot to write it down. Look up Kazvin. Qazvin. Now, Zanjis and Habashis is another name for either the Ethiopians or the Bantu-speaking language blacks. Where's that at?
Iran.
Iran. Okay, it is Iran. So let's go back. So this is in Iran. This is them making war. And looked at, if you zoom in to the fight, see they got a sword in the brother's head? Right there, yep. Cut him right in there. Shapop! Right there. Okay. Give me the next picture, painting. Read that.
Marasp and the Tarusiyi watching Darab fighting the Zanjis. The body of Tanbalus is floating in the water. Mughal, India, circa 1580, 1585.
We showed you Turkey, we showed you Iran, and now this is in India. You see that? That's us fighting with them in India. That's India, that's them on the right, and we're on the left. You see the brother with the sword right through his back or his stomach, whatever that is. All right, give me the next one. Zoom in at the bottom.
Darab going into battle against the Zanjis. Mughal, India, circa 1580 to 1585.
So again, the term Zanji, when you look it up, is another term for black people. These was what they call the black slaves. Let's zoom in. Yeah. This is fighting there in India with them. Okay. Give me the next one. Bottom.
Darab receiving homage from homage from the defeated Zanjis.
So they defeated us. Go ahead.
Mughal, India, circa 1580 to 1585.
Let's look at the picture. So that's us. We lost the battle. Now we had to go to the Indian leader. Okay, let's go back inside the book. Next page. Right at the bottom. Read that, Yuri.
As between Arabs and Africans, the situation is more difficult to assess. There are verses, indeed many verses, attributed to pre-Islamic and early Islamic poets, which would suggest very strongly a feeling of hatred and contempt directed against persons of African birth or origin.
You see that? Next one, highlight.
References to black people in pre-Islamic Arabia have usually been taken to mean Ethiopians.
That's what I was saying. The term Zanj is one of them. Go ahead.
Commonly called Habash.
Commonly called Habash.
The Arabic name from which our word Abyssinian is derived. Habash was probably used for the peoples of the Horn of Africa and their immediate neighbors.
Next page. Zoom in.
Therefore, the Negro nations are, as a rule, submissive to slavery because Negroes have little that is essentially human and have attributes that are quite similar to those of dumb animals, as we have stated.
Damn! The hell is that? I didn't want to bomb for that. Give me the next highlighted section. Go ahead, read that part.
A unique letter preserved by an Egyptian historian vividly illustrates how black African Muslims must have felt.
Black African Muslims, listen good.
The letter, dated 794 AH, equals 1391 to 92 AD, was sent by the Black King of Bornu, now in northern Nigeria, to the Sultan of Egypt. The king, his family, and his people were free Muslims and therefore, by Muslim law, not enslavable.
Because they had a law, if you're a Muslim, you could not be a slave. Okay, go ahead.
To strengthen his status, he claims that his tribe was founded by an Arab of the prophet's tribe of Quraysh. Yet, despite this, Arab tribesmen have devastated all our land, all the land of Bornu. They took free people among us captive, of our kin among Muslims. They have taken our people as merchandise. These raiders carried off free women, children, and infirm men. Some they kept as slaves for their own use. The rest they sold to slave dealers in Egypt, Syria, and elsewhere.
So this Muslim African king is now complaining to the king of Egypt, hey, we had an agreement. Right. We're Muslim now. You forced us to be Muslim. We're Muslim. We're not supposed to be slaves no more. So, but people are making us slaves. So he complains. Let's see what happens. Go ahead.
The enslavement of free Muslims was of course totally forbidden by the Sharia.
Sharia law. Go ahead.
And from time to time, voices were raised, urging the slave raiders to desist from this offense and to direct their efforts against pagans in other places.
But
the practice continued, especially in Africa.
they didn't give a damn if you was a Muslim. You black Muslims still had your black ashy lips as slaves. What's wrong with you? And you don't want to tell us this. Now, they either don't want to tell us this. It's either they out of ignorance or they're wicked as hell. It's one or the other. You're either ignorant or wicked as hell. But these are things inquiring minds need to know. And we didn't write these books. Thank you. Next page.
Scale revival of slaving in...
Damn, why is it blurry like that?
Oh, no.
That's the way I took the picture. All right, just read it quick. It's hurting my eyes.
Yes, sir. Scale revival of slaving in black Africa took place. This was furthered by the Egyptian advance up the Nile at the time of Muhammad Ali Pasha. The classical routes developed in medieval times, laid from West Africa, Guinea, from the Berber word ignal, nawa, meaning black, across the Sahara to Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, from the Sudan, down the Nile, or through the desert to Egypt, and from East Africa, across the Red Sea and Indian Ocean, to Arabia, Iraq, Iran, and beyond.
That's where we were slaves. Raise it up. Sorry I made it blurry. I apologize. Go ahead.
This gave a new role to the slave market of Mecca.
Slave market where?
Of Mecca.
We always got to stress Mecca as the slave market. Next page. Hopefully it ain't blurry. Give me that.
The capture, sale, and transportation of blacks from Africa to Arabia and Iran continued. However, albeit on a much reduced scale, at least until the mid-20th century.
Lower it. Raise it up, I mean. Read that.
The Negro is to be found here in Arabia in his proper place.
What's the proper place, Scott?
An easily managed, useful worker.
Uh-huh. Slave, right. Slave, go ahead.
The Negroes are the porters, water carriers, and performers of the most of the real labor in Mecca. Happy, healthy, well-fed, well-clothed, as such things go in Mecca, they are slaves.
Y'all see it? Well-dressed slaves in Mecca. Go ahead.
Proud of their masters.
Proud of their masters.
In a country where a slave is honored only after his master.
Wow. Go ahead.
Slavery in the East has an elevating influence over thousands of human beings. And, but for it, hundreds of thousands of souls must pass their existence in this world as wild savages, little better than animals.
Give me the next page.
While every settled town under Turkish or native rule in all wide Arabia has a slave market to be stocked, our greatest efforts can but increase the demand and raise the markets. Witness, a strong male adult might be bought for $40 4 years ago in Mecca, and the same will now fetch $60.
Y'all see that? Next page. Zoom in on that.
The large number of pilgrims that go annually from Persia to Mecca and to Kerbela, etc., return with slaves.
Y'all see that? You see what the Hajj does? People go there on their Hajj to get slaves. Y'all our people in Islam, our people be so damn simple. Go ahead.
The large number of pilgrims that go annually from Persia to Mecca and to Kerbela, etc., return with slaves, averaging rich and poor, one to each pilgrim.
One to each pilgrim. Give me the next page.
In about 1839, T.F. Buxton gave as a conservative estimate a figure of 20,000 black slaves a year transported by the desert routes to the Arab lands. The African Slave Trade, London, 1839, page 46. Cited by Brown. Estimates of slaves exported by sea routes from Zanzibar in the same period vary between 20 and 30,000 a year.
Wow. Go ahead.
Esmond B. Martin and T.C.I. Ryan. A quantitative assessment of the Arab slave trade of East Africa, 1770 to 1896. Kenya Historical Review, 1977, page 71 through 91, conclude that in the 125 years covered by their study, fewer than 1 million slaves were exported to destinations outside East Africa, and about another 1 million were absorbed by the local demand on the East African coast. In an admittedly rough estimate, Mowney puts the total drain of African slaves to the Muslim lands at 14 million.
14 million. Now, near the end of this book, I found this. Go to the last page. And let's read that.
On the contrary,
I want y'all to pay close attention to this.
there are several passages in ancient Jewish literature indicating that black is beautiful. The well-known verse in the Song of Solomon 1 and 5, which the authorized version following the Latin renders, I am black but comely, O ye daughters of Jerusalem, reads in the original Hebrew and unequivocally in the earliest Greek translations, both Jewish and Christian, I am black and comely.
See that? It's originally I am black and comely. Go ahead.
The but said in the Vulgate,
Bible,
appears to be the contribution of Saint Jerome.
So they says Saint Jerome changed the word and to but. Everybody see that? You can't make this stuff up.
What is a nation? Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is men leading by example. Nation is women's support. Nation is children with role models. Nation is unity. Nation is you. It's nation time.